Hello and welcome. Thank you very much for joining me today on my knitting podcast. My name is Jolanda and I'm coming to you from the Netherlands. So, I hope this is going to work. I have a little bit of extra light, which I don't think that is working so very well. I also use a different phone because I thought the sound was a bit low on my other phone, and I have a second phone only for the singing app because it just gives a better sound. But we will see. Maybe I will talk to you and there is nothing good coming out of that. Let's hope that's not the case. So it has been 2 weeks. I have the I think I have the flu. I have just don't feel that well. So well, we will just see how this goes. I have a son at home who's also not feeling well, so well, I hope we don't disturb each other. I have some show notes because my brain is a bit fuzzy, and Molly is already circling because she wants to join. Hello, Missy. Here she is. See? Molly is my little co host. All right, I have a finished object, and that is something you have not seen before because it is an older object, and I started it in August last year, 2023, and I thought I just needed to finish it. I finished the body, and then the 12 cast-ons came and other things occupied my mind. But then I look at my projects and I thought, okay, it only needed sleeves, so I will do the sleeves. And then I washed it and I blocked it, and I was like, oh, this looks so free, so tiny. And I'll just put it here in my room on my dress form. And this morning I thought, well, I don't know what this woman was thinking, but who's going to fit in there? It's like, okay, I just woke up, I tried it on, and very surprisingly, it did fit. So that is kind of a lesson for anybody who wants to know that even if it looks very small, we can wear something that has no ease or a little bit of negative ease, and it will still fit very nicely because yarn is just so stretchy. So without any redo, let's just show you the project. I did not take any pictures because I don't know how you all look in the morning, but I don't look that well. So maybe today later on I'll try it on. I just feel so tired, and I did not even want to try it on again for pictures. But this is the Dolly sweater, and let me have a look for you. Who is the designer? Olga Putano Designs. And I really like her designs. I knitted a few ones, so it is definitely cropped. For my comfort zone, I would like it longer. I know I had a top on this length, and I visited my mother. She was in the elderly home at the time, and I just keep pulling it down. And she said to me, why didn't you knit it any longer? Because you just keep pulling it. Apparently, you find it too short. I will never forget that. And she was so right. So, but I think if I find the right pants with this, a high waisted pant, I have some brown pants. Um, or I make myself a skirt in this color. That would also be nice. Or a very dark brown. I don't wear skirts. I don't wear dresses, but I want to change all that because, yeah, why not? So I love these sleeves. These are the bell sleeves, of course, with the color work at the end. And yeah, it's just a very fun sweater. And yeah, I actually fit in here. So it is not that tight. I think it might be, I don't think it is negative ease, but it just looks really, really small. But it is not that small. If you compare it to something that is loose, of course, then it looks really small, but it is not that small. So it is a very nice design. I used Drops Fable for this brown because that I think that is the only on the Drops line they have. I have Flora, I have Nord, and the Fable is like the scratchiest one, the Fable, whatever you want to call it. But that one was the one who had that brown. So I had a sweater's quantity of that. And so this is Drops Fabel, and this is, I think, I'm pretty sure it's Drops Flora, so the turquoise and the white. So yeah, it is just an easy pattern. It's a well-written pattern. If I don't wear this, originally there is also color work around the bottom hem, but because that is for me kind of the widest part of the body. I mean, if you have a little bit of a belly or a wider hips, that is not really the part you want to accentuate. So I usually omit the color work over there because that will definitely draw the eye there. But if this in the end is something I will not wear just because it is too cropped, then I can decide to make it longer because I still have yarn left. It is knitted on a tight gauge. It is a thin yarn. It's this a sock weight yarn. And if I remember correctly, I don't think I wrote it down. It was on a 3mm needle. So, but then again, you get a really beautiful lightweight sweater, not a very thick one. And this will be a very nice transitional sweater, I think. Yeah. Well, it just happened. It was suddenly it was finished. And apparently, I don't mind sleeves at the moment. They just happen. I'm gonna drink a little water, otherwise I start coughing. Coughing. So I also wore the fall medley sweater I was talking about last time with the beautiful colorwork yoke. The sleeves are ripped back. What happens, what I already saw, is the bottom hem. I changed needle sizes, but the yarn was thicker than the base yarn and it started flipping up. So I either need to lengthen it or I will remove it, rip a little bit of the body out, and then reknit the bottom hem just with the whatever I left from the body. And just while I said that, I think because the neckline, we talked about that the last time, it also stretched out. And I was just thinking, I wish I just had some of that green yarn and I just could reknit the neckline, do it a little bit wider. And now as I'm talking to you and I think maybe I unravel the body partially. I mean, if you unravel it like 2 centimeters and then the width of the body and you reknit it in the neckline, you don't need that much. Hmm, maybe I will do that. And I'll do the ribbing again in the fluffy yarn, but do some decreases. So it is getting tighter because the ribbing now is wider than the sweater and then it will just flop up. So there is still room for improvement, but it wears very nice. It's nice and warm. I love that I made the long cuffs in the mohair because now the cuffs of the sleeves are nice and long. I really like the long sleeves right now, especially if it's colder, if you don't feel so well, you get easily chilly and yeah, you know all that. So that was then the update on the fall medley sweater. There is always room for improvement. And sometimes I just wore them like I don't really care about the bottom hem. But if I want to really enjoy it and wear it more often, and I mean, it can be improved quite easily. And I have a few more sweaters, and I think I will do it in another episode. I want to redo some parts of certain sweaters, and I want to look at sweaters that I don't wear, what the problem is. Um, I actually wanted to show you a sweater I knitted and I just could not find it. It's not like I have 10 cabinets and I don't know where it is. I just have a big wall cabinet because this is an older house. We have the big wall cabinets that, yeah, as a child, I'll hid in those, you know. My girlfriend, they had a house that was an older house and they were just so big. And I know I finished it in November, December probably. I wore it and I just cannot find it. So I might just be staring at it and I can't see it. But um, the next part is probably going to happen next month. I will invest in a cabinet for my bedroom, and that is just with a lot of drawers. I'm not sure how you call that. But then I want to sort out that wall cabinet because my underwear, my socks, everything is in there. Some are in boxes, but if you have a lot of drawers, you can sort everything. And I love sorting. And I already have a beautiful paper that I can put on the bottom of the drawers to make it all look nice. So that will happen soon, I'm sure of it. So, and then I will sort out my cabinets with all my sweaters. I will refold them. I will sort them on um, vests, pullovers, cardigans. Sort them. Maybe also a little bit on the thickness. Like, is it cotton or is it really for the winter, like that? And I don't know why I talked about that, but probably because I lost the sweater. So I am making plans and I really enjoy making plans. So then the last time I was working on the C-class sweater and I came a long way. And then suddenly I looked at it and I thought the same as with the other thing. No, it doesn't look that big. Maybe it is. I need to increase some. It feels a little really it feels a little bit dense. It is definitely dense, but I had that before and after washing it all relaxes. So I thought, this needs to be on a bigger needle. I'll need to try it on before I finish a whole sweater and I won't fit in it. So it looks really nice. It is colorful. I'm still debating on the sleeves. I don't think I want a sweater completely like this, but I might change my mind if it feels nice. Um, yeah, it is a certain look. It is also a certain feel. It's more rustic. It's really warm and thick. I always also thought at one moment, like, maybe I will stick it and make it into a cardigan so you can wear it outdoors. Maybe that is even a better option. So I will also do the sleeves in the color work. And then we get a button band that will be in brown. And that will, um, you know, break up the whole busy pattern. So I'm not sure about that. As I look at it again, I really like it. And I'm happy I can use my old handspun. If you haven't seen this before, it is all out of handspun. Old handspun that was very irregular. Also smaller skeins. You can use up everything. Really like that. And yeah, so I just needed to put it on bigger needles. And that's not a job, but I didn't feel like doing that. I did not feel like doing anything, to be honest. Just sleep. Um, Let me see. Um, yeah, well, I still have many cast-ons from the 12 cast-ons. I grab them once in a while if I just like okay, I have like half an hour before I start the dinner. I'll just grab something nice and easy, just mindless knit. I have one here because I think I'll do some talking at the end and then I can do a little bit of knitting. So then you don't want to do any sleeve decreases or anything like that. I still have two objects I want to talk about. One of them you have seen before. I talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago, last podcast. It was also made out of handspun. And it is the free pattern from, I think it is, maybe I should not say it because I'm not sure, but it is a free pattern on Ravelry and it is the Maya cardigan, which I make into a sweater. And I divide it for the sleeves. That's always a goal for me. Oh, if I get past the sleeve separation and then somehow I got my goal and then it slows down. But this is really nice. So I really like it. There's no reason I just put it away other than I was looking at my stash and I in my mind I already was planning a different project. Let me just finish showing you this. So also handspun, talked about this last episode, how I overdyed this to another color and then can make it work for my complexion and whatever. Yeah. This is really nice and soft. There is a little bit of stellina in here. It is fiber. I carded long, long, long ago. So, about the next project. That was another cast on that was not planned, at least in my head before. I think it was even before the sea glass. I was thinking about, because, well, you can't see, but all those squares, I have 3 squares higher up filled with handspun. So that's all finished yarn. And of course, it was more because I took some out. I took a lot of it out actually, because I'm planning another sweater. I'm planning 2 more sweaters. I'll talk about that later. So I was looking and I was thinking about a striped sweater, but I'm not so very fond of striped sweaters somehow. Some people love it and I'm just not so fond of it. But then again, I don't really own one, so who am I to say? So I was looking at patterns and there are small stripes, wide stripes, so many options, and I just did not know. I looked at my stash and I started pulling out skeins. I thought, okay, if I do it in a one color scheme, if I take blues, all my blue skeins with, yeah, somehow the same thickness that might work together. You can vary a little bit. It doesn't have to be exact. And again, I came on to some older skeins. I also found 250-gram skeins from Knit Crate in a beautiful blue that I thought, okay, that is really soft. I can do that for the neck because it has a turtleneck. So then I'll come to the pattern I knitted before, and that pattern is called the Dog Walker by, let me see, the Plucky Knitter Designs. And that is a very nice pattern. It is in Aran and in worsted weight written. So that is very easily accomplished because if you add a mohair as they did, or you have a thicker handspun, it is just a perfect pattern. So I knitted this before, I knitted it in handspun, and then again I run out because I always, in my mind, I know 400 grams for a sweater is enough. But then we are talking about fingering weight, and how many of us spin fingering weight handspun? Usually it turns out a little bit thicker, more to the, you have DK sport weight. So sport weight and DK weight, it is easily going to that direction. And if you add a mohair or whatever, it doesn't even matter. But I had 400 grams of worsted weight handspun and it had some silk in it. Was blue, beautiful blue, so I knitted that dog walker sweater. It also had I wanted it to be nice and warm, so it had a collar, but I ran out of yarn. So I still like it. The collar cannot be folded over as it was supposed to be, but the sweater is nice. It is not really oversized. It's just a nice, cozy, comforting sweater, which I cannot show you because I can't find it. But it will show up. But I really liked it, so I thought, well, making stripes cannot be that hard. And I had 5, maybe 6 skeins. In the end, I decided to use, I had a lot, but these two, they were too different from the rest. So I decided not to use these because you don't need 700 grams. I think I ended up with 500 or something like that. Or maybe 600. I don't know. I definitely can't need all of it. I know that. So the pattern is written that you cast on and later pick up the stitches. As I talked about last time, I think that will be my preference from now on, so I can decide how wide and the needle size and all that. Let's just show the sweater because the last one I knitted in 6 days. Yeah. So this one, I don't know when I started it. I can definitely look it up. And now a cat is approaching. He is not the most handy cat, but here he is, Mr. Day, Victor. He hears the dog bark, so he wants to have a look what's going on. The dog walker. See. let's see. So this is how far I got. So I finished the whole body. So the body stripes, I made 22 rows. And what I did is I knitted until I thought, okay, do I have enough yarn to make also a stripe in the sleeves? And that's when I decided, okay, it will be 22 rows. But then I ran out of yarn with this color. I had not enough left over. And the problem was this color at some points was so thin I needed to double up the yarn, and then I did not have enough. So the stripes on the sleeves are shorter than the stripes on the body. So 18, 16 rows on the sleeves and 22 on the body. And even these rows are not all the same. Um, I mean, this is the dark part. There's also a lighter part that is connected to that. So it was a stripy yarn. So this is definitely thicker. It made a little bit of a wider stripe. You can see also in the sleeves, it's like you have an increase, which you have not, but I'm not worried about that. I will wash it and I will definitely enjoy as it is. So yes, as I like it, as I know right now, is the body length about 40 centimeters, and that's including the ribbing. Shorter than that is kind of uncomfortable for me. Then I agree with my mom. If you keep pulling it, then you should have knitted it longer. So the sleeves, 46 centimeters. So as soon as my sleeves reach the body length and I add a nice and long ribbing, then it should be okay. So I need to go a little bit longer. So I have to do a little bit of, yeah, magic with the yarn that I have left. Or I might choose to add this one in the end also. Maybe. I totally run out of this yarn. So the collar and the bottom ribbon just finished up 100 grams of yarn. So I cannot use it for the ribbing on the sleeves. I'm also running short on this. So what I'm doing, I have 40 centimeters circular needles. I have two of them, but one is wooden and one is metal. And I know the gauge will change. So this one I will put on the wooden needle now, and I will start knitting the other sleeve, and then I will see whatever yarn is left over. I will finish off these sleeves, or I will just pick something out wherever I can find. So this is a very interesting way of knitting. It is knit one, purl one, and then next row knit, and then you get a very nice texture, and that will be on the outside because you fold it over. I use this, it is not a secret, it is just a broken rib, I think, the broken rib or something like that. I like it. It doesn't pull in very much. It is, well, it lays nice and flat, which is nice. Um, Yeah, what else can I say? It is knitting quickly because it is 4.5 millimeter needles. And, well, this will be my stripy sweater, the stripy handspun dog walker sweater. And I do have a dog, but it doesn't want to walk. So, oh, that doesn't really matter, does it? So, yes, the dog walker by the Plucky Knitter Designs. Yeah, I like it. I think it will even out with wash. I found out that some of the skeins I nicely skeined up, but they were not washed. They were so, some were really overspun. They were not relaxed at all, and I just knitted them in there. So they will definitely relax after washing. I hope. I'm pretty sure they will. I'm looking forward to this. So another sleeve and a bit of a sleeve. This will be done very soon. Yeah, just a simple raglan. Nothing complicated. Picking up the stitches for the neck. And this is 20 centimeters. So again, it takes up a lot of yarn. This part and this part, 100 grams. Yeah, Well, that's okay. Now I know. I should write it down. I think I should have put it in the notes with this sweater, so I know for the next time if I'm knitting it again. And it, I seldom knit something twice, but apparently this was a very nice and basic sweater. It's nice to know for the next time that I need around 100 grams. Set aside 100 grams for the neck, for the collar, turtleneck. Yeah, I'm looking around and I see, yeah, that yes, I talked about everything, almost everything. Um, yeah. So in a little bit, I will do a little bit of live talking, and then everyone who wants to go, you can go. But I will knit on this because I pulled this out. It has grown, definitely, and it looks very orange on screen. Let me see. Last time I showed it to you, I was here. So this is quite a lot of knitting because it has a lot of stitches. It is a small needle, but it is mindless going around and around and around until I have to figure out when I need to start the lace at the bottom. But that is the Volia blouse from Teti Lutzak. I want to talk about the plans I have. I had, I watched the podcast and then I was like, oh, yes, the Alpine Bloom by Boylan Knitworks. I bought the pattern as soon as it came out. I'm subscribed to her newsletter, so newsletter subscribers usually get an extra discount. And I just forced myself not to cast it on because I thought, okay, I finish from something first. And I did. I did finish the doily sweater. But then the dog walker came along, so I just restrained myself. But the Alpine Bloom, I have that in my library, and I caked up the yarn because last time I showed you this yarn and I said, you know, I might just use it and not even wash it. So that's gonna happen again. Apparently I do that a lot. And I will pair it with this. So this will be the main color and this will be the color work. And I'm so surprised if I look at the Alpine Bloom from Boyland Knitworks and I look at her sample, I'm not so enthusiastic. And I look at all the other people's sample and I just love it. It's she took a gradient and was it a gradient? I don't know. The design is so super stunning, but it kind of fades away because of her color choice. I think that's my opinion, but you can totally disagree. So my Alpine Bloom will be in these two. So again, I can talk for hours about colors that suit you. I hope I can remember to talk about it later on, as I told you last time and I forgot. So I think these are definitely they I think they are totally my latest spun yarns. So they are nice and thin. You can see that they're very they match looking at the thickness, and I think that will be very nice high contrast. So this is on the waiting list. And I also want to talk to you about if I purchase a pattern, because I try not to do that actually for quite a long time. And if I do purchase a pattern, I will think about it. When will I knit this? So when I think, okay, yes, this is something that will suit my idea of what is aesthetically pleasing, maybe, or what fits my wardrobe. Maybe it's something I would like to combine with something, or I want to make something that is, you know, you have a certain style. Maybe you don't. I never had a certain style, but now I realize I want to work towards a certain style. So when I buy something, I want to know, does that fit my style? And I have a lot in my shopping cart on Ravelry, and those are just there because if I want to knit something, or I find the yarn, of I look in my stash like, yeah, you know, really need to use that yarn or that, or that something like need a pattern for that, and maybe something is in my shopping cart. If it is not in my queue, then I can decide to buy it. only if I immediately will need it. So if I buy something that I don't immediately use, and that is also the Alpine Bloom, I'll put it in my queue. So it reminds me, okay, you bought something, you gotta need to use it, because otherwise it's just a waste of money and it will stay there forever. Because when the swag was so very popular, I bought a pattern, I never knitted it. It needs to happen because that's why I bought it. So I bought one pattern, and again, Zanit Knits. I am a subscriber of her newsletter. She gave a very um, generous, I think 30% off of her patterns. Her patterns are more on the pricey side. I don't say they are too expensive because there goes so much work into writing a pattern, but you can afford it or you can't. And this 30% made it for me affordable. So I bought it, and it was the Barberry sweater, and I just love that. I love the floral patterns in the yoke. I um, She had option as a sweater or a cardigan. Many beautiful color choices. You can use the color changing, from light to dark, or you can just do. I don't know what color I will use. It is on my queue for now. I bought it. The Barberry sweater by Zenith Knits. I probably butcher all the names because I have no idea. And then, because after I knitted the emotional support chicken, I got from my boys they were very enthusiastic, and they said, I think, Mom, you need to knit more of those stuffed toys because they look so cute and cozy, and especially in the handspun, they look homey, yeah, cozy. Oh, can you see him? He's back. He is so orange. Hi, Mister. I had some foil in front of the windows just so not everybody can look in. But I tore that off. It took away so much light, and it is just not such a big window, and it is easily too dark. God, you're so adorable. So I just pulled it off. We had a little bit more light, and Mr. Red loves to sit and stare in front of the window. And you make me distracted. I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, one more pattern I bought was the knitted Animal Friends. So that is a collection of two bears and two bunnies and a lot of clothes. And it was 70% off. So the whole collection, the whole ebook was around €5. And I want to knit a bear and a bunny, and that I have some crazy personal reasons for that. But that's what I want to do, and I want to again use my hand spun, brown for the bear, white for the bunny. Maybe some clothes, maybe not. I think it will be something nice to do in between. Also to use up the hand spun I have. And I said it before, I'm not really the amigurumi and things. I maybe made one or two in my life. I don't really like it, the stuffing and the seaming. But again, I forgot to mention that last time I had very much a lot of alpaca fleece. No, just alpaca fiber. Can you call it fiber? It's more like hair, right? Yeah. And it was all washed and it was a lot. But if you use alpaca on its own, if you card it and spin it, it's so warm and it just grows. And I carded it in the brown yarn I'm using. There's definitely some of that alpaca, but I also had a lot of it left. And I use it for stuffing for that chicken. And I don't know if you noticed last time when I put it there, Molly sat next to it because she hadn't seen it before, and she loved that the smell of the alpaca wool. So it was adorable. I saw it later when I watched the video that Molly actually sat next to the alpaca, the chicken. It was adorable. So yes, I can. I still have washed wool, quite scratchy. You know, sometimes you have wool that is not the best quality. It has short bits. It has yellow stains from the urine. And I was not skilled. I washed everything. you should sort it because a fleece has better parts and less good parts. So I did not do that, but it is all washed, but it is perfect for stuffing animals. That's what I wanted to say. It's a long story to say something very easy. So yes, then I can use up that wool. I can use up my irregular handspun, but it looks lovely in any toy or animal because that just gives you the idea that we're actually talking about fur and not a perfectly straight knitted fabric. So yes, that is also on my list. And there's so much on my list. And something I cannot show you, but I definitely have some pictures for you. I started weaving. As I find, as my peace returns, as my brain relaxes, all the old things start to resurface. Like um, I used to draw and paint, and I bought a weaving loom for a reason, and it just, everything shut down up there because I was surviving. And I took my weaving loom and I found a lot of cotton light, which is cotton and acrylic. And actually, my walls downstairs and here too have kind of this color. I have some beautiful chairs. We bought everything from the thrift store. So it's all secondhand, but we have beautiful chairs, dining room chairs in this color. So I was thinking, okay, I'll start weaving. It was my second attempt. And I can get very frustrated if things don't turn out as it is in your mind. If you watch, I had a video on Craft C because in the past I was learning a lot through that platform. So I had a course on Richard Heddle weaving, and it looks so simple. How hard can it be? But it can be hard, especially if you're stubborn. You think you can never do everything on your own. When they especially say you should ask somebody to help you with the warp and tension the yarn. The same mistake I made the first time, I did again, but I think it turned out better. I will continue. I did a little bit of filming. Again, I know nothing about any of this, only what I did. So I showed it to you. I did a little bit of hand stitching. So I still have some weaving to do, and I will continue with that. And then I can take it off the loom. I will finish it off. They say wash it in the washing machine, or I mean, this is cutting in an acrylic. You don't have to be careful with it. I think I will make them towels, into towels, so I can use them in the kitchen, or maybe placemats so they fit nicely with my chairs. But I want to continue the color scheme, from the dining room table to the kitchen. And I was want to repeat those colors to make everything more coherent and give it a certain atmosphere style. I really would like that. So I don't know how it's turning out. They say just throw it in the dryer and everything will shrink nicely together and it looks hopefully better. The weaving itself is okay. The edges are a bit wonky because the tensioning of the warp was not correct. But I'm a little bit hopeful that will even itself out after washing. Who knows? I will definitely use it. So I started my weaving journey on my rigid heddle loom. This is an Ashford loom. I think this is the 60 centimeters. So this is my second attempt. Yeah. So I already wove quite a lot. The problem area is this side because I have trouble winding the warp and getting a good tension. There is paper underneath here, but they advise you to do it with two people. I was stubborn and wouldn't want to wait, so I did it on my own. Okay, that is something I definitely can improve. So I wove this part with a single thread. And now I did the part to separate from, I mean, it's going to be towels. So you weave something to separate one towel from another. So this can be unraveled later and you can make a fringe or whatever. And I wove this with a double thread. So actually, I think this looks really nice. So since I have still some warp threads left, some length, I will do the last towel with double thread. I think that is that's something to try out. So this will not be a masterpiece, but I will definitely learn something from it, and I think that's really nice. Yeah. So yeah, the course I looked at and learned a lot from was on Craftsy. That was something I I bought years and years ago together with my loom, and they advised to wrap it in the figure eight. So I will do so. Double thread this time. So you continue on the other side if you want more yarn to weave. So I'm using two colors. The scrap yarn is actually a separate color. It was a strange orangey, which still looks quite nice on the loom. So that only tells me that I can actually use all the yarn I have, because the base will definitely influence how the rest turns out. So this is also pretty nice, even though I see this as scrap yarn, this orange. So I will do some hem stitching now. So I wove a few rows, and the hem stitching will be along this edge. They advise you to take 5 lengths, so that should be enough for the hem stitching. I'm not sure if I should do it with a double thread, but I'll think I'll just start with double thread, because I also wove with double thread, and we will just see how this goes and if I have enough yarn. So it's a knitting podcast and we have a little bit of weaving. So I will grab my knitting now, and if you want to go, I totally understand. I will do just there's no heavy topics this time. Thank you all for everybody who supported and said all the nice words and shared their own stories. I know I got a lot of likes, so I can only imagine not everybody wants to share their story, but they either agree or they support whatever I was talking about. I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised about the amount of views I got. It was so much more than I ever had. And it might have been the emotional support chicken, the thumbnail. That was drawing people in, maybe. Well, nevertheless, I'm very thankful. I'm not here for the amount of likes, but it is very motivating, of course. And I've been away for a very long time, so it's so nice. People just welcome back and start watching again. I hope to make everything more interesting, maybe, and hope the setting is nice. I definitely want I've been moving things around, so that side was already as it was in the way in the beginning, because that was a very long wall that would definitely could hold all the cabinets I had. In the end, can see there is fabric, because I used to be a very driven sewist. I made all my own clothes and I made everything for my kids when they were little. You can also see there are knitting books. That is an acrylic drawing I made of my cats, but somewhere down there are also my art books. So about watercolor and all kinds of stuff I liked. So everything is visible now, and that makes it so much easier to get inspired. So yeah, that is very nice. So I was talking about that corner. That corner is empty now, so I really would like a chair there to where I can sit and knit. This is just a very old chair I have from years and years ago. Um, that is it has a battery, so it can go up and down, and it was used in the kitchen to sit while I cooked and those things. So I have a nice corner. I can put a chair there, and I can sit and knit for an hour or so, and just have the cats as company. So as they grow older, they will not be just on their own, but also have a little bit more of my company. So yeah. So what happened in the last 2 weeks? Um, let's just keep this neutral. So let's not talk about me too much. We have been to the vet. Michael's cat, and that used to be my mother's cat. He said he screamed so loud in the middle of the night while he was in the litter box, and that is just a red flag. So we were very worried, and we were debating. It is Friday. What are we going to do? Because as the weather is cold, I have a very tiny electric car, but as the temperature is below 10 degrees, I cannot make it to the vet. I can. It is just the you can the amount of kilometers you can make is almost half than you can do when temperature is higher. So Michael said, Mom, I really want to be there when he goes to the vet. He is an old cat, It might be the last trip he makes. And also Max in the past was very traumatic in the car. He hurt all his nails. He was in such a panic. Okay, that had a reason, but we found out that if we just put him in on the back seat of the car, he is a lot calmer, and Michael just could soothe him. And so Michael took the day off, and I found somebody who could drive us to the vet, and we came there, and she said she checked everything out. Max is diagnosed with the problem of the urine problem, just like Victor. They both are boys, and they have the problem with the peeing, so they have special diet food. So when I heard he was screaming while he was in a litter box, I was like, okay, something must be wrong, because he is on a diet, and if he still can't pee, there must be something else going on. So and Michael too. We kind of expected the worst, and then you come at the vet, and she looked him up. He has multiple problems. Um, well, just has health issues because he's an elderly cat, and we are looking after those. And she said, you know what? Actually, he's looking quite well. He did lose a lot of weight, almost 2 kilos, which is a lot for a cat. And she said, but it's okay. He is very nice on weight now. So she said, you know, the only thing I can think of that he is getting demented, you know, dementia. And it was quite curious. I can't say funny, but it was curious because I heard another podcaster from the Netherlands talking about her cat. And the vet also suggested, you know, it might be dementia. They start screaming out of nowhere. They have no idea where they're going. For Max, he is just in a bedroom, so he will not get lost. But she also talked about her cat. He just forgot to eat. He lost also a lot of weight, and if the cat is not overweight, then it is a lot, 2 kilos, you know. So I hope he won't lose any more weight because then it will become a problem. But Max was big. Max was 7.4 kilograms, so he was a little bit too heavy. But it's okay. He was also a big cat. So in the end, we were nervous wrecks because cats, oh, they're like your children. You're just so worried about them. And he was totally fine. And he was happy to be home, of course. And so I'm kind of convinced that the vet was right, that he has dementia. Um, Sometimes I look at Michael said, you know, sometimes they don't have such a good day. So like it looks like he's not feeling so well. Maybe he's gonna needs to vomit or has a hairball or whatever. Can you check on him? And I just find him, and he's just laying there in a box, you know, like he didn't even hear I was coming. He didn't even he didn't even look at me. I just looked at him. He's like, oh, okay, he's sleeping. And hours later, you come down, he's still there. So I don't know. Maybe he's just tired like me, or he's just like I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even know what he's doing. I have no idea. But the mensch is okay. I have no problem with that. But just you have to be mindful that they do eat. And yeah, well, that was the best diagnosis we could get because if a cat seriously has an yeah, well, I don't want to talk about all the stuff that can happen, but we all know if a cat gets older, there might be something seriously wrong on the inside that you cannot see on the outside. So, as in my mind, I was thinking, okay, this might be the last trip. In his mind, Max just was happily going home, and he was very happy that Michael was still with him. And also at the vet, it is just adorable how they go so well together that he is constantly looking for Michael and he is um, rubbing his head against him and just looking for comfort. That was really, really nice. So, for the people who don't know me or my family, so I have two sons and they're both have an autism. Michael is the one who has the most problem with it. Problems like, yeah, he I don't know how to say it. They're not really problems. We all have problems. But maybe he's the one who has the most restrictions from it. And he has to work hard to overcome them. Let's just say it like that. So Michael is diagnosed with the Asperger syndrome. And um, yeah, there are different kinds of, there's all autism spectrum. And Michael is 23 now, so he very well knows his limits, but he is also so smart, and not just smart, you know, with all the situation that was happening. Apparently, he could see that when he was a very little kid, that his father was just a very wrong person. While we get confused by our morals and our trying to talk things right. He just saw wrong from wrong. And that was so eye-opening to me. But yeah, so he's all good. He's very happy with the situation right now. He says it very often. We talk a lot together. I was very worried about the situation of leaving for um, well, they're not really children anymore, but young adults. But nevertheless, you are for many people growing up in a house and leaving it is a thing, yeah. And you if you do it on out of free will because maybe you're gonna marry or you're gonna move out, then it's different. Then you have to there is an emergency and you have to leave. So it all went good. I have been buying some flower seeds. I don't, maybe I have a photo from my patio. I have a very small garden, which is totally fine, but there is no soil. This is all tiles. This is also okay. We have a nice fence, everything. We have an porch. Do you call it a porch? A roof against the house? Maybe, I don't know. So I definitely want to have some flower beds in the future. And or maybe I will start with big pots. But I remembered from a very long time ago, I would love to sow some seeds and see them grow to plants. So I bought the lupine seeds. I think I bought the zinnia and I bought the latyrus. So what I what I what I liked and I looked up to is to how to recycle things you already have. So I saw how you could use your toilet paper rolls to cut in the bottom um, and then fold it in and then just fill it with soil and put your seeds in there. So the toilet paper rolls are a paper that dissolves very easily in water or soil. So you can just put the plants you sowed in there, just in the soil or the pots outside without removing them. And if you want to remove them, you just I can imagine you can just tear off the toilet paper roll, right? So the porch is made out of wood, and the lady that lived before here put many nails everywhere. So I can only imagine hanging baskets there would look really great. I can look forward to those things. I love the fuchsias. That is one of my favorite flowers. Fuchsias, the hydrangeas. Um, yeah, we have two hydrangeas in the front yard. I also love the flower bulbs. The hyacinths, the daffodils, the tulips, and we have pebbles in the front yard. So I thought, okay, next year we will plant flower bulbs. And now I look outdoors and flower bulbs are coming up everywhere. Not in the pebbles, but definitely on the sides. And I'm so pleased. And I was like, oh, maybe they're crocuses. The leaves looks like crocuses, but they keep growing and growing. So I think there might be daffodils. And I don't know. I hoped maybe hyacinths. I don't know. It is a surprise garden because I planted one I think there was the aster. We call it the fall aster, the herfstaster. I don't know what that is the original name, but we planted it there. For the rest, I did not plant anything. There was a very big viburnum, very big. I know it from the past. I had it, and it didn't survive the winter. But this became like I don't know how high it is, but 2.5, 3 meters high. So it is a bush, but it flowers all winter and it smells great. So that is in the front yard. There is also a few the grasses and then the decorative grasses. I'm not so fond of those, but I can see they are still there. And yeah, I think there is a hazel tree or something like that. I'm not sure. I will see it when it just it has no leaves now. So The front yard is adjacent to the playground for the children, and there are really big trees there. So I can only imagine whatever you plant there doesn't get that much water because those big trees are definitely taking a lot of the groundwater. But whatever is here is flourishing, and I saw the hydrangeas. They already got little leaves, and that is a bit too early. We had some real warm days, like 15 degrees. That's just too warm, and now we're going back under the 10, and it's like, oh, if we get some frost, we might even get more snow. That happens sometimes in April. Then, yeah, those will suffer because they cannot handle that. But that happens every year. They get all excited and start producing leaves, and then it gets cold and the leaves just freeze. That happens. They turn all black. So that's very unfortunate, but it happens. So I have some really nice plans for, yeah, next of this year. This it is already 2024. Yeah, Michael said. I said, I kind of we, the old house had a beautiful flower garden. I had many roses, and yeah, it was mostly my doing, whatever was there. So sometimes I think, oh well, it is not really important, but there's some memories you left behind, and you have to start from scratch again. And the lady that left this house had the same problem, of course. Yeah, you live somewhere for a long time, and it is becoming your own. And they built a garage, and they made a kitchen, and yeah, they did many things in this house. And then yeah, it's something you leave behind, right? But we're very thankful. And Michael said very appropriately, he said, Mom, this is like a blank canvas. We have beautiful tiles on the floor. They like um, gray, really big flagstones. I'm not sure how you call them. They are in cement. So, yeah, we don't have to do anything about it. Like the fence is perfect. It's like a blank canvas. Whatever we put in there is it's gonna be ours. They painted the garage wall white. That's just perfect to put roses against, maybe climbing roses. She left an old garden bench behind, which was very dark green. It's almost black, just like the fence, but it is a dark green. And yeah, it's just ready to be decorated. That's how I see it. And I have many plans, and I will start slow because whatever you plant, whatever you put there, I think about garden beds and then on a height. The tiles that are there are definitely in cement, so I'm not going to remove them. So something higher up, which is also easier for me to weed or to look after. But then again, everything you put there, you need to water, you need to weed. So I will be conscious about many things. Also, the things I buy, the things I really gonna use that? In the past, it's so easy to buy stuff and then you store it. And now I like to think more mindfully about reusing things, or like I like to use candles, and you probably all know if you burn a candle, there's always a lot of left over, usually a lot really. So I saved those, and then I looked. It's so nice of the internet. When I was little, there was no internet, so the ideas are just overflowing. So I had, the inside that you light a candle is that we call it the lont. It's like the cotton thread in the middle, the pit. I'm not sure what the name is. I had those, and I could actually find them because I sorted everything out and I knew where they were. So I already had those. And then they said, if you have the Pringles, the chips, my son likes to buy those. So you clean the Pringles package, the inside, you put the pit of the candle in there, Make sure that it doesn't flop over as soon as you put the hot wax in there. The thing will wobble. I will have to figure something out how to make that more stable, but that is something you learn as you go. So I heated it au bain marie. So that was so super easy. And I thought it would take forever. It just melted in no time. You just pour it in the Pringles tin. You wait until it is set. It is all cooled down. And you just peel off that. Yeah, you just peel off the wrapping. And that was such a clever thing. And the outside of the candle is not smooth, but it has the more rustic look. And that's actually how you buy the candles right now. Not so highly polished, but more that rustic look. So, um, of course, if you know a little bit about color, then you know that if you mix colors, it is very easily turns brown. But I was totally fine with that because I have brown furniture and yeah, it looks really nice, and it is just it's a free candle. I only had to use to buy the cotton thread, and I already had that from long ago. So I will save up the leftovers of the candles, and if I have enough, I will melt them. And well, you can do all kinds of fancy stuff. You can add something aromatic, or you can at they had some they told about the wax pencils, you know, the crayons we used as children. I have a lot of those. Apparently some shavings of that you can add too and color your candles if you just have white wax. It is just a rabbit hole. Everything is a rabbit hole. If you're creative, there are so many things you can just reuse, and that's nice. I see that this is going to be a long episode, which I was not planning, but it happens. I wanted to talk a little bit about something I'm going to do. So, March 7th is my birthday. It's about in 2 weeks. And, well, usually I'm just happy if my birthday is over because it was also the day my father passed away many, many years ago. And my birthday was usually me crying, and not just because of that, because of many things. And I just thought, my birthday is not so important. Let's just forget about it. But now my life has a different view, and what I've learned from this is you you look for people that will make you happy, and that's actually not a right thing to do. The thing to do is make yourself happy, and maybe it looks selfish to plan your own birthday, but actually it's just taking care of yourself, doing something you like. And I mean, if my children do that, it makes me very happy because it is a special day, it is a special day. Your children were born, and if you just pretend that they did never happened because you feel all miserable, it's also a kind of a sad thing for your parents. That's how I thought it. That's like, I want to honor my parents because I made it this far. I made an humongous change in my life I never thought I was strong enough to do. I did it, and now I want to celebrate. I want to do something, and I already knew what I wanted to do a long time. But that was something I wanted, and I talk about it here also a lot. I wanted to do that when I was a teenager. I was so not obsessed, but I was really interested in the colors and how they affect your mood, how they look on you. If you put on bright colors when you're feeling down, it might help you, or you feel uncomfortable because it is just too cheerful for the mood you have. There are so many um, theories about colors and what they do to us. So, what I am especially drawn to right now is because of the gray hair. And yeah, I just want to know which colors looks good on me. So I investigated that, and I found colorwise.nl is um, a couple that specialize themselves. The man is a photographer, and the woman knows everything about colors. So I will go together with my friend that helped me with the move, and we go to Velp, and that is like 30 minutes away. And together we will get our colors checked. How do you say that? Analyzed. We get our colors analyzed. I'm so looking forward to it. So it will be on March 6th because, yeah, well, I was 1 month ahead, but they take a lot of time for you. So it's only a one person show. And yeah, I can totally imagine. She had room on the 6th, so I will go on the 6th with my friend and we will get our colors analyzed. And we are both so looking forward to that. Oh, yes. We are both knitters, we are cat lovers. We were such a nice neighbors, and yeah, I miss her. And so we're gonna do that together. My red cat is trying to catch the yarn. So we are gonna go do that together in a little less over 2 weeks. So I think I want to know that for many reasons. Of course, I, I would like to know what looks good on me, but also because I dye yarn, I would like to know, um, the color shades, and yeah, I just want to know what colors look the best. And I also have colors I know they don't look so good, but there are still tricks you can use to make them make them look good. And I'm just interested in that, and I'm looking forward to go and do that in before the next podcast. I'm probably well known in whatever colors, and I'm also interested because I think my friend, she she is kind of, I think I always thought she had very dark hair. She was close to my my color scheme, but I might be totally wrong because she can wear a beige cream so beautifully, and that looks so bad on me. So I'm so curious to see how that will work out for the both of us. So that's so very nice. And I heard her talk about the same. She knitted a vest, and her sister said, that color doesn't really suit you. So we should try to avoid that, right? Because that's a lot of work. And yeah, if we can, we will. So that is something that I'm looking forward to, and that will totally change my perspective of my birthday. I don't want to pretend it never happened. I just want to make it a nice day. So I think that is this. That will be this for this week because I talked way too much. I hope you enjoyed it, and so thank you so very much for everyone who checked in, watched maybe partially, watched maybe the things they were interested in. I will definitely put in the weaving content here, and I hope to be back in 2 weeks. That will be around my birthday, so maybe after, or we will see, maybe earlier, because apparently there was still way too much to talk about because we're way over now, and I'm sorry for that. So, hope to see you soon. Thank you so very much. I hope you still want to push the like button if you enjoyed this because it really helps. Thank you so very much and happy knitting. Bye bye.